Look, if you've watched any of my videos or followed me for any amount of time, you know it's very tough to rattle me and make me upset or make me angry. But this entire beat 'em up situation is insane and has me so frustrated that I had to make a video immediately to give you my reaction and really tell you exactly what's going down here and open up the playbook. Look, I stopped mid-salad. Okay, that's how serious I take this, because I do not think lying to your audience is something that should be normalized or made okay. And honestly, I see right through everything Beatemups says he's trying to do. And as a YouTuber of over 15 years, I know the playbook. I'm going to open the playbook for you. He thinks you won't know this, but I do, and I'll share it with you. Because the fact of the matter is, Beatemups did not do this for the greater good of the community. And Beatemups did not own all of the fake leakers. Beatemups owned himself. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce right off the bat. Leveraging your relationship and trust with your audience to conduct an experiment or any sort of thing that betrays that trust, I think is wrong. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's clever. I don't think it's interesting. I don't think it's illuminating. Beatemups, here's what happened.
I can't tell you how I know. Do with this information what you will. There's going to be a Nintendo Direct next month. It's going to tease a card, Animal Crossing, coming out in 2026.
People are going to lose their minds.
He claimed that he knew there was a Nintendo Direct. This was back on June 21st. He said that in July, there's a Nintendo Direct. Okay, he said it on his Nintendo podcast. He said he can't say how that he knows, but he knows there's a Nintendo Direct. It's going to have the Metroid Prime 4 date. It's going to have Witcher 2 or Witcher 3 Switch 2 edition. It's going to have Animal Crossing. That was like his big kahuna, right? He leveraged Animal Crossing knowing that that community is super excited and knowing that that community, in a lot of cases, isn't as keyed in to what's going on in the Nintendo sphere. And then it blew up. Okay, so YouTubers started covering it, websites started covering it, Reddit started covering it, Twitter started covering it. Everyone started covering this leak that he said was a leak. He said it. And there's some nuance here that makes this so different than the experiment he claims he's trying to conduct, and I'm going to explain that to you too. He says that he hates leaks.
I hate gaming leaks. They ruin surprises, they spoil moments that we love, and I've always been curious, how do fake leaks get so much traction? Like, how does something so clearly fake go viral?
He wanted to figure out how leaks work so that he could help stop leaks, and he doesn't want fake leaks to happen, and it sort of sounds like he doesn't even want real leaks to happen. He doesn't like leaks. So the purpose of this lie, of betraying the trust of all of his audience, was for the community. It was for you. But the fact of the matter is that's just not true. First of all, this entire experiment only works for one reason and one reason only. If I did this experiment, it probably would not work. But Beatemups is the largest individual Nintendo content creator probably in the world. That puts him in a super unique position where people are paying attention, people trust him, people believe in him, people like him, and websites, YouTubers, and accounts are going to pay attention because it's him. This is not an experiment about how a leak spreads. This is an experiment about how the leader in a specific genre, a piece of the YouTube pie, has an audience. Duh. We knew that he had an audience, and I was one of them. I've always respected and liked Beatemup's content. There were things I noticed really early on, like how he'd casually walk around as he talked and conveyed his info. Like, I thought that was really cool and personable, and I even tried to learn from him a bit, see what he did so well. I thought the guy was a genuinely good dude, and now I kind of think this is just a super jerk move. He says that he regrets the whole thing.
In July. Metaphor. We're gonna get GameCube. I
Shadow
heard it
drops.
was Pokemon
Death
Coliseum
Stranding
was one.
Director's Cut S.
Witcher 3 Nintendo Switch 2 edition.
Metroid's
I
release
heard
date.
Isabel's gonna show up, and it's gonna tease a card, Animal Crossing, coming out in 2026.
Sorry about that. I actually am very, very sorry about that. I didn't really think of this through at all.
He says that he's sorry for the whole thing. He says he did not know it would blow up like this. Look, this guy has an insane fandom, an audience, and a channel with tons of subscribers. He's ran it for many years. He makes a ton of money off of it, and he knows what he's doing. There are two options here for Beatemup's guilty apology, mistake, misstep. Either he's super ignorant or he super wanted to make money. And let me tell you, as someone that's done YouTube for 15 years, we know how these things are going to go. And there's not an ounce of me that believes that Beatemups didn't know how this was going to go. Look, the only reason it got picked up is because Beatemups is huge. If you did this or if I did this, even with SwitchForce being decently successful, like, it's not getting picked up by these major websites. YouTuber SwitchForce says there's a Nintendo Direct. Dude, that guy says it all the time. He talks about getting excited about Directs all the time. This was different because Beatemups carefully established your trust, like a great YouTuber does. Beatemups made sure that he didn't just blab about leaks. He didn't just make things up until he did. And so then when he did, we all took him very seriously. His fans, his fellow friends, he even showed that in his video that RGT took him seriously.
Go on. He said, go on, July Direct. But I don't want to give away the game. So I said, how'd you hear about that? Your podcast is making the rounds. Is your source legit or what? That's fine. What do you mean? Making the rounds. It was this Reddit thread on gaming leaks and rumors.
He's built a rapport with everybody. And we could dive into the wormhole of parasocial relationships and building a connection with your audience and how this just screwed that over, which is where I think he thinks that he owned the community and owned fake leakers. In reality, I think most people are going to look at this and say, dude, that was not cool. That was not figuring anything out. We know how rumors spread. We understand why leaks become popular. There's a ton of hype around Nintendo. People have been waiting for a Direct. And all this proves is that when you build up a lot of trust and you're an industry leader and you say something, people listen to you. Now, I'm going to pick apart his arguments because he says a few things time and time again in his video that are just silly to me. Beatemups says that he never said he had an insider source.
I like that this one used insider claims. In the episode, Wood claimed he had an insider knowledge. Oh, did I? Yeah, did I say insider knowledge? I don't know if I said insider knowledge. I did not. This is what I said. I can't tell you how I know. So did this article just make that up? Though he stayed tight-lipped about his source.
Which, he's right. He never verbally said the words, I have an insider source. What he said was, I can't tell you how I know. What does that mean? That means he has an insider source. It absolutely means he has an insider source. There's really no way around that. When someone says, I can't tell you how I know this, but I know, it's because you have a source. It's not because you made it yourself. Does anyone believe that Beatemups is the Animal Crossing director? Does anyone believe he found a secret piece of paper in the manhole covered by his apartment? The only way that he would know without being able to tell us is from an insider source. So you had an insider source, at least in the world where this was a real thing. It wasn't, but you can't be blaming people for saying you had an insider source when that's the only logical explanation for how you got this information. He also says that at different points in the podcast, he said that he wasn't sure about it. Be skeptical about it. Again, I hate this type of loose sort of excuse and loose sort of way to worm your way out of situations. If you're going to leak stuff, you own it and you leak it. You don't later or earlier put in these caveats so that you can get out of it in the future. You got to be careful with what you say. And Beatemups knows he has a huge platform and a huge audience, and he knows that his voice is important, valuable, and taken seriously. Beatemups has never been someone that has made stuff up before. He's never really even gotten involved in the leaking community. So having a leak seemed like, wow, he's taking a big risk here by putting this out there. It must be legitimate. And you don't need to or shouldn't have to go through the entire podcast to find out if there was a clue along the way that maybe he was lying. You shouldn't have to assume that your favorite content creator, the biggest Nintendo content creator, is just lying to you. You shouldn't have to have that in the back of your head that, okay, I got to watch this whole video and wonder if this person is intentionally lying to me so that they can run an experiment to, oh, by the way, make a big video on and gain a bunch of views. Look, at the end of the day, I don't understand it. I would never do it. But I'm confident that the main motivation behind this was money. At the end of the day, people do YouTube as a job. Yes, many people love video games, and there are tons of small creators that don't make money off this and do it just for the love of it. But Beatemups is not one of those. He makes a ton of money. And I'll tell you, as somebody that puts a lot of time and effort into my channel, if I didn't make money off of this, I could not do it. The production level that Beatemups put in is not possible without making money off of it. And Beatemups has a lot of money. That guy has a lot of views. He's had some good sponsorships, and he's been very, very popular and relevant for a long time. That's hard in YouTube. It's very hard. People peak for a year and then they're gone. Beatemups had staying power because he's a good YouTuber, maybe a great YouTuber, and he's built a great connection, a truthful connection, an honest connection with his audience, and I think he just blew that up. Now, there's going to be a lot of people that say, oh, Beatemups, you're so cool, you're so smart. Like the fanboys, right, are going to be like, oh my gosh, this was a genius idea. You're so cool. I can't believe that you thought of this. What a great experiment. But I do think there's going to be a silent majority, actually, that look at this and say, what the heck, man? What was this trying to achieve? You figured out how leaks spread? Dude, we know how leaks spread. Someone says something, if they are a big name or have popularity or have past leaks like a Nate the Hate, right? Or a Wario64 or a Nash Weedle or any of these people, Pioro back when that was a thing. Or if you're a popular figure like Beatemups who doesn't normally leak, people are going to take note. They're going to post about it on Twitter or Reddit. It's going to spread around and others are going to see it. What do you think I and every other Nintendo YouTuber or Nintendo writer does when they wake up? They look to see what the trending topics are. They look to see on Reddit what's become a new piece of conversation. They look to see what people are interested in and talking about. And then we cover it. That's how news works. We don't need an experiment to figure that out. Beatemups also tries to make this very intelligent, scientific-sounding argument in his video explaining the experiment that this is confirmation bias, that people believe this because it's what they want to hear.
And it was here I learned about something called confirmation bias. This is where we tend to believe things that reinforce our existing hopes, beliefs, and expectations.
Dude, that is not the case at all, and this is not confirmation bias. This is trusting someone who's reputable and trustworthy. That is not confirmation bias. Of course people believed it. You said it. What were they supposed to do? Not believe it? People weren't believing that this Animal Crossing leak from you was real because they're so hopeful for Animal Crossing. They believed it because you said it. They believed that someone with 2 million subscribers, countless videos, and tons of really cool partnerships and sponsorships wouldn't just straight up make up lies. They believed that someone they watched for a long time, that maybe they respected from afar, wouldn't just be straight up screwing everybody over in betrayal. None of that is confirmation bias. It's just trusting someone you thought had integrity. We don't need an experiment where you lied to figure that out. And here's really the kicker. If Beatemups wanted to do an experiment, someone did this before. Okay, someone did this before. His name's John. He was part of the Game Explain Network. He kind of went and did his own thing. But he made up this like Waddle Dee character and started leaks and then tracked them and traced them. This experiment has been done before, but it was done with tact. When John from the Game Explain Network or wherever he's gone now did this leak, he's a guy with like a deep British voice, he made sure it wasn't associated with his persona so that he didn't leverage his trust with his audience. Beatemups took it a step further and said, I don't care about that. I'm going to leverage my trust so that this blows up bigger so that I can make a bigger video and I can get more views and money. And if Beatemups tries to tell you that he did not intend to get views or money off of this, he did not intend for it to blow up, he just genuinely I just don't buy any of that. I don't believe any of that. None at all. YouTubers know what they're doing. First of all, you got to be pretty smart to even do this, like mostly by yourself, run the business, post these videos, be on camera, not be afraid. Like there's so much that goes into it, right? There's the editing, there's the posting, there's the search engine optimization, there's the thumbnail, there's so many pieces of the puzzle. He makes a podcast. He's not dumb. He's not ignorant. He knows exactly what he's doing and he's been very successful at it, which tells you even more that he's really smart and really good at what he's doing. So he knew that this was going to blow up and that he wanted to make money off of it. And he could have chosen to do it as an alter ego, do it undercover if he really wanted the experiment. But it's premeditated. He said it was going to be an experiment. He didn't just hear bad news, fake news, say it, and then realize, oh crap, that actually wasn't a real leak. Now I'm going to make something out of this. He calculatedly sat there and said, I'm going to lie to my audience about this Nintendo Direct, something that people are so eager for, so excited for, and they trust me so much, it's going to blow up, and then I can make it a video called The Experiment. To me, that's pretty low. To me, that's a real jerk move. To me, that's taking the one thing that you took so much time to build that is organic, natural, and impossible just to fabricate out of thin air. Look, I can go bot views, right? You can go bot views. We can go buy an audience, followers. You can go buy an audience, followers. But you can't buy real trust. That's not something that people can just get. You can't go on some website and be like, I'll pay $25 for Google AdSense to give me trust. You can get impressions, you can get views, you can get users to follow you, but it's all natural to build up trust. And Beatemups build that up over a very long time and very good content, like top tier content. This guy did great work. This guy impressed the heck out of me. I've always been a fan, just as like, I respect this. I respect what you do. I respect how you do it. I don't respect this. And then he's going to have the audacity to basically put everybody that covered this on blast as if they're the dummies, as if they're the big idiots, as if them trusting him and having respect for him is somehow a poor reflection on us. No, dude, that's a poor reflection on you, that you leverage the respect and the trust of your colleagues and your audience to get what you wanted. Now, what he wanted was pretty small. It was an experiment and some views. It's not like he wanted to take over the world. I get that. But it's still the kind of nefarious way of going about this, where you took your popularity and your credibility, dangled it, and said, haha, you suck. I don't think that's really what it reveals at all. I think it's kind of the opposite. The other thing here is that when you're dealing with these leaks, when you're dealing with Nintendo, it's a very big part of the industry. It's a very big part of the YouTube space. And I'm going to tell you kind of my theory. The Nintendo Switch 2 was very popular. It's very popular in terms of how it did in the big box retailers, the sales for Nintendo. Switch 2 did not move the needle anywhere near Switch 1 did for YouTubers. And I think Beatemups wanted to just find a way to generate some hype and generate some buzz and generate maybe like a big viral moment, okay? Because people are going to cover this now and say, popular YouTuber, Nintendo YouTuber, Woodhawker, Beatemups, he did this great experiment, and they're going to cover it because it's a follow-up on their past coverage. It's a culmination. He called a bunch of people out. He's got all the recipes, all the ingredients for a viral moment. This is a calculated move to get another viral moment after the direct leak was a calculated move to get one viral moment. I know the YouTube playbook. I've made videos across multiple channels for 15 years. You calculate this stuff. You think about what you can do to get popular, what you can do to have a video really pop off, what you can say. And let me tell you something. I've met countless YouTubers that tell me straight up, they don't say what they actually believe. They say what the audience wants to hear. That is just like a fact. We just know that about a lot of people, that they'll do whatever they can to get the most views and make the most amount of money. They'll just say what they feel their audience wants to hear. They'll lean into the negativity, or they'll lean into the rumor, or they'll lean into whatever. Like, you want your videos to do well, and people want to have their audience like them. Okay, so Beatemups wanted 2 viral moments, and he used the trust and respect of his community and his peers to get that. And then when that was going to backfire, and maybe he realized this wasn't a good idea, he's now going to get another viral moment out of it. So at least he gets 2 viral moments and everybody talking about him. I'm contributing to this problem by making a video all about him. So even if it's negative, right? What do they say? All press is good press, right? All exposure is good exposure. If you're trying to get bigger, if you're trying to make a leap, and like I said, my theory is the Switch 2 didn't pop as much as Beatemups wanted. And no matter what size YouTuber you are, if you're the smallest YouTuber with 20 followers, a medium YouTuber with 20,000, a big YouTuber with 200,000, or a huge YouTuber with 20 million, you always want to get to the next level. You always want to get more. You always want to succeed and climb and improve and grow. Nobody likes stagnation. Nobody likes decline. I think Beatemups wanted to get in the mouths of everybody. Journalists, YouTubers, news outlets, websites, videos, TikTok. And he did. But at what cost? I think it's really funny also that he picked the Animal Crossing community, knowing that they are a vulnerable community who are going to be more susceptible to leaks. At the end of the day, the Animal Crossing community, many of them just play Animal Crossing. They don't pay total attention to the Nintendo sphere. They don't pay attention to the total video game industry sphere. They're not constantly online sussing through real leaks and fake leaks and 4chan posts and Reddit posts and identifying what's accurate and believable and what's not. So he uses Animal Crossing as the thing that will get the most people talking and excited, because it was the biggest surprise hit of the Switch 1 generation. It attracted the most casual community that could easily spread this rumor and leak for him. And it's super exciting to other YouTubers because they know their audience is really excited for this. This was a strike. He threw the ball down the lane and hit all the pins, and he knew it. He can say over and over, he didn't know it was going to blow up. He didn't mean for it to happen. He's sorry. He feels guilty. I'm sure he does feel guilty, and I'm sure he is sorry, but this was calculated and planned and on purpose, the entire thing. So evaluate it with that in mind. He knew what was going to happen, he knew what he was doing, and he knew how it was going to turn out. And I find it frustrating that he's trying to put all these people on blast that trusted him, because what were we supposed to do? Say that he was lying? Completely ignore it? Like if I make a video saying, I know there's a direct on Thursday, or I know there's a direct on Thursday on Twitter, nobody cares. And guess what? I did that. And I knew there was a direct on Thursday. And there was a direct on Thursday. And nobody cared. Accurate information, correct information, honest information, truthful information, nobody cared. It didn't get picked up. It didn't really get talked about. Nothing. Because that proves my point that the reason this got picked up was not because it was a rumor. It's because it was Beatemups. If I posted this exact same rumor, it does not make anywhere near the impact. We have proof of that because I posted there was a Nintendo Direct this Thursday, and I got a few thousand impressions, and a couple people replied and told me, no, there isn't. At the end of the day, I value my trust in my community, and I do try my very best to find real information and share real information and truthful beliefs. I don't just do the easy thing and say, oh, this is terrible, because everybody's saying it's terrible, even though that's more popular. I try to give my honest take. I give you like my real feelings on things, whether I think it's positive, negative. It's not a big deal, actually. It is a big deal. I definitely empathize with as many people as I can. I try to feel like, okay, I don't really collect physical games, but if I did, game key cards are terrible. But then I also give my take, which is like, we still want to support Switch 2, so probably should suck it up and buy the digital version. Because what am I if I'm not an honest version of myself? The whole reason people watch YouTubers over reading an article or just hearing a voice on the radio is because they want to build a friendship, rapport, trust, and sort of a relationship with the person. I think Beatemups didn't realize that he was leveraging all of that to a point where it could crack and crumble. Now, I don't think Beatemups is going to fall apart. I don't think his channel is going to die. I think he's going to do totally fine and maybe even see a bump. But I will be curious how people react to him in the future. I guarantee he's not going to do another Nintendo Direct leak. I could probably talk about this for a very long time because I think it's something I've tried to do for a long time. Like, look, I've seen it all with YouTube. I've seen people betray the trust of working with game companies, doing sponsorships, working with fans, all sorts of people. Friend relationships just bust apart because people are ultimately seeking glory, fame, and the dollar. I don't think that's the right way to go about it. I've tried to structure what I do and my channels in a way that stays honest and true to what I believe in, what I think is important, and I'm not going to just grift and change myself for a few extra bucks. I really believe that Beatemups was one of those guys, that he was doing everything legitimately, by the book, honestly. I had extreme respect and trust and just admiration for how well he had done. I didn't hear anything bad about like, oh, you know, he would do like this oldest trick in the book where the embargo is on Monday. So you post the video on Saturday, then say, oops, and take it down. But you got 2 days of free views and then put it back up. There's a very popular YouTuber who would do that all the time. The game embargo would be on like a Monday or Tuesday. He'd post the video on Saturday, soak up 2 days of early views, then take it down and say he was so sorry. And he was so big that people had to continue working with him. And that's sort of the situation I foresee with Beatemups. He's so big and so powerful and so popular, people will still work with him. People will still watch him. And in the grand scheme of things, this will be but a blip on an overall picture of a channel that does insanely well. Beatemups, you make great content. I think you made a huge mistake here, but I think that you knew about it. And I don't think you should say that you didn't know about it. And I don't think you should try and sugarcoat it and say, oh, I didn't say it was an insider. You said that you couldn't say how you got the info. What is the alternative? It came to you from a heavenly messenger? You found it on the back of a penny in a Target parking lot? Your grandma called you because she works for Nintendo? What was the alternative to an insider? And you did know how this was going to go, and you wanted the viral moments, and you'll probably never see this full video because it's 23 minutes long, and you're not going to watch it, but you put everybody on blast and try to make them look stupid and silly, and in effect, I think you ended up flipping the script and doing that to yourself. But at the end of the day, hey, it's okay. I know you just want to get views like everybody else. I know you just want to make Nintendo videos, and the Switch 2 hasn't been super successful in terms of videos. I get it. I'm facing the same boat. But I don't recommend lying again to your audience in the name of an experiment that everyone knows the answer to. And you didn't find anything else out, especially because the only reason it worked is because you're the biggest Nintendo YouTuber on the face of the earth. So that is my rant and my reaction to the Beatemups thing. Like, I don't think you should go send any ill will to Beatemups. I don't think you should go tell him he sucks. I don't think any of that. Like, don't do that. Don't spread any negativity, any hate. Don't give this any more attention than it needs or that it's already had. Just let it go. Let it lie. Take it as a lesson for yourself, maybe. Think about how you conduct yourself, how you value trust that you have with others, the rapport and the respect that you have with others, and how you want to handle that and protect that or not protect that in the future. It's just like a good point to think about it, look at it, see it, and say, like, okay, how would I have done this? Do I think this was the right thing to do? How would I like to be in my life going forward? That's what I'm going to take away from it, and I'm going to go play Ninja Gaiden or Ragebound. That's better use of my time than raging at this Beatemups controversy. So until next time, everybody, hope what I said made sense. Like I said, I was mid-salad. I just had to get my thoughts out there, and I had a lot of them, so thank you for bearing with me and listening. In the meantime, everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Love you lots. SwitchForce out.